today I will be interviewing uh, Kassidy Brown, the Senior Associate Athletics Director for Marketing and Communications at DePaul University. Again, Kassidy, I just want to start by saying thank you for taking the time out of your day to be in this interview. I know how busy of a schedule you have with March Madness, so thank you again for coming out and talking to me.
You're very welcome.
Tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Sure. So I'm from a suburb of Chicago, Lake Zurich. I'm the youngest of four, so everybody always played sports around me. So it was a natural upbringing to now work in the sport industry. So youngest of four, I went to the University of Illinois. I played soccer there, so kind of understood the athletic department a little bit more than just the average student at Illinois. So played soccer there for 4 years and then was trying to figure out what the heck to do. So I got a 1-year internship through the Big Ten as the Big Ten diversity intern, which really means the Big Ten assigns one full 40-hour internship per university, one student athlete. So I was that student athlete and I was assigned in marketing. I was kind of between like ticket office, development, marketing, and I think a lot of my coaches and some of my teammates are like, you're perfect for marketing. So started there for a year, learned a ton. I always say I didn't give the administration enough credit when I was a student athlete because I kind of just thought that everything ran on its own, but I learned quickly that you had to assign a public address announcer and coordinate with concessions and make sure that the maintenance is all good. So I learned a lot within that 1 year. And then I was kind of at the point then, do I go to grad school? Do I continue to find a full-time job? And I hit that crossroads and decided to go try out for the Chicago Red Stars, so the professional team up in Chicago. So I did that for a season and it was awesome. I ended up signing an amateur contract with them. So I would train with the girls every single day, and then come games, I was doing marketing stuff for the Red Stars. So it was kind of interesting seeing the professional side of sports as well. So I did that for a season, and then I went back down to Champaign for a full-time gig. And then I was at University of Maryland after that. That was my stop right before DePaul. So I was at Maryland for the last 4 years, being the primary contact for our men's basketball team. So we did a ton of cool things out there at Maryland, hosted ESPN College Game Day. We do their flash mobs, which is like a big Maryland thing. Honored and recognized the 100th season of Maryland basketball. So a lot of rich tradition and history there. So I was super fortunate to be out there for a while. And then this job opened up at DePaul, where it's kind of I oversee both marketing and communications. And it's kind of a perfect fit in a sense where marketing has grown so drastically from just like creating a t-shirt and coming up with a wacky promotion. I think marketing, if you don't get the good word of what you're marketing out through your communications team, it's kind of useless. So overseeing both of those initiatives, we focus a lot on like our social media and making sure that we're growing our brand through email. So overseeing marketing communications it's been fantastic. I've been here for just over 2 months now. Came in the thick of basketball season, which was interesting, kind of executing stuff that was playing prior to me. But it has been fantastic. We've got a couple wins under our belt at home since I've been here. So I can tell that we're moving in the right direction. And we're just really continuing and hoping that our fans are sticking with us and just really want to show them a good time. That's what it comes down to. There's a lot of strategy behind everything that we do, but we want to make sure that people are coming, enjoying themselves because they're spending their extra dollars on tickets and their time. Our goal is to make sure that people have a good time when they come to games. And I think that's a really cool thing for my job.
That's definitely awesome to hear. You brought up so many interesting points that I can't just begin to just think about. But one thing that grabbed my attention was that I know you talked a little bit about you playing soccer. I mean, like you played soccer all throughout high school and college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me how like the game of soccer like influenced your life, because were you a multi-sport athlete or did you just stick to one sport? I know
Sure.
that's important.
Yeah, so I played soccer and basketball all of high school. I think my senior year I stopped playing basketball, but my club coach growing up was very adamant on get involved in anything that you can. That's not really the philosophy nowadays, though. It's kind of find your sport and stick to it. So I was really, really fortunate that my club coach kind of encouraged us to do multiple sports. Um, I think it kind of just rounds you out and you get different coaching styles, you get different coaching expectations. And so I'm a big advocate for that. And I think it's really important.
It's great. I can definitely relate to that. As a kid, just growing up like in a household of two other siblings, I can remember all the times when my parents just took me to travel league basketball or soccer just to compete with anyone around the area. It was such a great time. So that's definitely great to hear. So when did you realize that you were good at soccer enough to like be able to play at the next level? Because I know that can be challenging and like you have to deal with clubs and and just playing for your team overall.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm the youngest of four, and my older sister, who's next to me, she's 5 years older than me. She played in college, and so I kind of just assumed that I was going to play because I was at the same level of her playing ability, probably. But I didn't realize that it was going to be at the level of University of Illinois. My sister played at Valparaiso, which is a smaller D1 school. And I kind of just assumed that I would be going to a smaller school D1 in Chicago area. And then I started receiving a bunch of offer letters I was receiving interest my freshman year of high school and then receiving offer letters sophomore year. So it was kind of like a surreal time, I think, where I always like dreamt of playing, but I really wanted to go to a big school too. And I thought I was going to have to choose one or the other. And Illinois kind of just worked out really, really well, where I loved the coach. I still stay in touch with her now. Loved the coach, loved the campus, loved being able to play for my flagship school. So it just worked out really well. So I committed my sophomore year and then knew I was going there my junior and senior year. So helped kind of become a fan even well before my first day on campus.
No, that's crazy. Like for you to get offers like right away, like going into your sophomore year. I know a lot of kids that they don't even get looks until their senior year. So that means you must have been a really good talent around the area.
I don't know about that, but yes, I was very, very, very fortunate.
Oh, that's great. So like overall, you do you feel like I mean, well actually going off what you said, you being the youngest out of four, do you know what they always say about that, right?
What?
They say that the youngest ones are always the best.
Oh, I'm not shocked. Doesn't surprise me.
It kind of annoys me. I kind of have that problem with my little brother. He's I'm about like 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. I played all sports, but I loved basketball and soccer as well. But my brother he's a multi-sport athlete as well, but he primarily focuses on basketball now, and he's about like 6'3", 6'4", and he's doing great so far, but it's just like he's on another level.
That's awesome. It's because of the older siblings that help us get to another level.
Yeah, that's it. But that's great to hear. So overall, how would you say that like sports has like impacted your life? Can you imagine a life without sports?
No, not at all. It's crazy. So I actually met up with one of my old teammates last night, and she was like, "Your job is so cool," because I'm able to just like my job is what a lot of people use as like leisure. So a lot of people watch March Madness, and a lot of people buy tickets to go to soccer games. And the fact that like I'm able to do this as a job is just I don't know how I got so lucky to take this path. So no, I couldn't imagine my life without sports. And I think that a lot of the things that I learned as an athlete have transferred over to as an employee and a staff member here at DePaul, because it's a lot of accountability. You want to make sure like your time management's good. They're all the exact same things that we preach to our current student athletes that transfer over to like full-time employees, which is really, really interesting and I think super valuable.
That's great. So how would you say, like, through sports and overall, you can even relate this to your current profession right now at DePaul. How would you say, like, or let me rephrase this. When is a difficult time like that you face that you feel like you were able to overcome in life? Because I know everyone goes through stuff in life. So just to hear like maybe one brief story or a challenging time in your life and you're like, wow, I can really say I went through that and I overcame it.
Yeah, sure. That's a really good question. I think one of the like more difficult years, not even years, months, I would say was when I took my job out at Maryland. I was in Champaign for like a total of 7 years, on and off when I was up in Chicago for a little bit. And then I took this job on the East Coast. I didn't know a soul. I was so used to knowing everyone in Champaign. It's a small city anyways. And then I moved to Washington, D.C. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I'm a social butterfly and I'm going to meet all my new friends. And I got out there and just like, it didn't go as I envisioned. More so just like people, once you are in the real world, a lot of times I think people just put their head down and work and they have their families and they go home and they play with their dogs. And that was the first like kind of reality check where I moved halfway across the country for what I anticipated to be like another chapter, exactly like Champaign. And it was like really far from it. There's a lot of, in like DC in particular, there's a lot of people that are working on political campaigns. So people are in and out of the office because they are there only for a year working for a politician. And so that was just a really big culture shock to me. And so my first like month, 2 months, 3 months at Maryland, I was like, I am doing this for 6 months and I'm going right back to Illinois. And so I kind of stuck it out because I knew that I was going to learn a lot from the University of Maryland and the marketing staff there. So that to me was a really hard time envisioning something that didn't play out the way that I was thinking. But now I'm like the biggest advocate of people getting out of their comfort zone and finding new jobs, just like even for 2 years. And then you can always go back. But I think there's something to be said about going to a brand new city, brand new state, not knowing a soul and like pushing yourself to get more comfortable with doing things that you're not used to. So I think that is maybe just one of the instances where I was just super proud of myself for doing it.
How long were you in Maryland for?
So I was at University of Maryland for 4 years. I lived in DC for 2 years and then Baltimore the other 2.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely heard that a lot throughout my time of being in college. A lot of people are like, go try new things, and the only way you can get better is if you get out of your comfort zone. So that was definitely encouraging and motivating to hear, just about how like you're able to go through an obstacle and overcome it. So leading into my next question, I know you graduated with a bachelor's degree in creation, sports tourism, and sports management at the University of Illinois, where you got your bachelor's. I wanted to know, I mean, I know you touched a little bit upon it earlier, like how you feel like it was more so your team or like the people you're around are like, oh, you're really good at management. I mean, not management, marketing, that made you decide like, okay, I'm gonna do this after college. But like, what do you feel like you were like drawn towards it, or like you kind of just went with like what people were saying? You're like, oh, okay, let me try it.
Yeah. Probably a little bit of both. I think I was drawn towards it because a lot of marketing, there's like kind of two sides of my marketing, where there's like in-game experience where it's with the DJ. And so my in-game role is creating the script and organizing. I'm on headset next to the PA announcer. So it's telling the DJ when to play, the band when to play, when the team should come out of the tunnel, what video we play on the video board, what fan cam we're doing. So there's like the in-game experience from my marketing that I really am drawn to. Like, I think to me, you don't have to overthink that. It's like, well, as a fan, what do I want to be doing? What songs do I want to listen to? What video is cool? So I was naturally drawn to that. And then there's also the like advertising, email marketing, marketing automation that I had to kind of learn a little bit more. And the more that I learned it, and where people are like, you'd be really good at this, that's where I kind of leaned on them a little bit and trusted their gut, because the having fun piece of it, I can have that. That's handled. I was naturally drawn to that. So it was a little bit of just doing more research. And at that point, I had no idea. I was like, either I do marketing or I do development, because I like talking to people, where marketing is essentially talking to 18,000 fans when they come to games, which I think is really cool.
No, that's awesome. Going into my next question, this is kind of like just a more a general professional question. When you're starting your career, did you have like a career plan, like a layout of like each year I want to accomplish this?
Not necessarily, and that's not good or bad. I think it's just I didn't really know. So the people that I mentor now, I kind of try to help them lay that out a little bit better than what was laid out for me. I very much am like a figure it out type person. So I wasn't bothered by not having a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year plan. But I know not everybody's like that. So helping myself now create that plan, I like mentoring people to find a job, their next job that they want, work backwards to make sure that they're getting the responsibilities and the experiences that will set them up for that interview. So maybe somebody told me that a while ago, or maybe I just made it up. But that's kind of what I like to do now, is just making sure that you look and you're kind of keeping an eye out for what you want your next job to be, even when you start that first job.
I definitely think that's important. Just like having like a set foundation, just to like lay out how you want to do things, even if you don't have everything figured out. Definitely. I think that's even something I'm working on right now, because I know there's so many things I can do with my major in sports communication, but realistically, I have to like start layering into like one section. Going into my next question, have you, like, in your profession, have you ever like felt burnt out or otherwise lack confidence? Because I know it seems like being in marketing, you can be like very demanding. You have to be on task all the time and be flexible.
Yeah. I wouldn't say necessarily totally to the extent of burnt out. I think the COVID year definitely allowed a lot of people in our sport industry to take a step back and kind of reassess where to put your energy. Because I think the sport industry was kind of going down a path where it was getting to the burnout phase. But a lot of, I think, what people need to understand about the sport industry is like, you go in waves. So yes, the middle of basketball season is really difficult, really, really hard, especially when you have a Tuesday game and then a Thursday game, and the games are at 9:00 at night, but you're still working the regular office hours as well. That's like at its peak. Outside of the basketball season, we then have softball, both soccers. We have a lot of other things going on, but we kind of are on the same schedule as academics, where like the summers are definitely a little bit more slow and you're working on bigger picture projects. So to me, I think if you can get through that first and second year without hitting the burnout phase, you'll then grow and understand that it just comes in waves. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, where like this basketball season was really hard coming in halfway through, but I knew once we got through March, like I would be able to look back and see everything that we did and look forward and be really, really excited for the stuff that we were building on.
That's definitely great, and I think it just gives me a little bit of insight to like what you do on a daily basis, like as far as all the things you're assigned to do and how you manage your time, which is very important. with you being around in sports like your whole life, um, can you just give me like one experience you've had where like it's really been memorable or like, wow, I really got to be around this or I got to experience this?
Sure. From a playing perspective, we won Big Ten my sophomore year. So that was really cool. And actually just went back down to Champaign this past weekend for Alumni Day. So that brought back a ton of memories from a playing perspective. From a professional perspective, with a really good memory, honestly, was hosting ESPN College Game Day. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they announce it the week before where they're going the next week. So we got 2 days before the actual announcement. So really only 9 days to turn it around. And we just put on a really, really, really cool show. And that was a perfect example to me where you could do surface level marketing, and the word is people are going to come to games no matter what. If you take it to the next step of making sure that it is fully immersive, that they are then having a really good time and walking out and telling their friends about it, that only gains the fan affinity so much. So we worked our butts off for ESPN, and then the show was unbelievable, where the hosts of ESPN College Game Day, the three hosts, they walked off the stage and they're like, this was the best college game day that we've ever put on, ever, which is like really, really telling to me of like our hard work that we were able to turn it around within the 7-day period. So that was really, really cool and impactful to me, especially with it being on such a large national stage.
Was that in Champaign?
That was at Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay. I mean, it's all Big Ten, but that's definitely cool to hear.
Yeah.
I know recently, I believe in the sports management class I had last quarter, some of the students had the opportunity of volunteering for game day, college game day at Soldier Field. I think
Cool.
It was Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, which was a big one. But I just know about like that as far as that relation as it goes to DePaul and stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was there. That looked really cool.
As we kind of like are closer to the end of the interview, I want to know like what overall like motivates you as a person, and like what's your why?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. I think my why is, and maybe this sounds silly, but like I think the theme of what I have been kind of portraying with playing sport, working in sport, is just to have a really good time. I am not money driven. I love my career, but there's so many other things outside of just our jobs. And I think I have worked for some people who don't agree with that. And to me, I want to like make sure that people are having a really good time. And not to take our jobs too seriously, because we work in a sport industry. We're not doing brain surgery. We're not doing heart surgery on people. Like, people are coming to our events to have a fun time and to escape their daily jobs and their daily struggles. So I think my why is just really for people to have a good time.
No, that's great. Would you say that it was like a difficult transition, going from Maryland or back home, or like you just like, oh, when I saw DePaul, I'm taking it?
Probably a little bit more the latter. When I really wanted to get back to Chicago. I have 6 nieces and nephews out here. My mom's out here. I want to keep spending time with her. So when I saw the DePaul job, actually one of the basketball coaches who was at Maryland before, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, isn't this what you do?" and sent me the job description. So I knew a lot about DePaul growing up, but not like necessarily on the sport level. I just knew it was in the city. I thought it was a little bit more of an artsy school. So at first I was a little hesitant, because I'm so used to Big Ten play. But truthfully, once I got to learn more about the job and the staff here and the opportunities that we have, it was like a please, please, please get this job. I want it so badly. So it all worked out well.
No, that's definitely a blessing, and I'm glad everything worked out. Um, but
Thanks.
yeah, you've been everywhere. So like, I mean, Champaign, and then Maryland, and then back to Chicago, and now in the Big East.
Yep.
My next question is like, what advice would you give to a student like me that wants to work in the sports industry, in sports marketing and communication?
Sure. I think my best piece of advice would be just to start getting involved. I think until you're doing day in and day out, learning like behind the scenes stuff, you might think that you love it, but you might not. And I think that a lot of the things that you're learning within your textbooks and lectures are really helpful. But I think once you like dig your teeth in and actually start getting involved and you see that behind the scenes type of game day, I would imagine you would love it. So my advice is just to start getting involved as soon as you can.
All right, no, definitely. I definitely feel like just with understanding how like sports communication is so far, um like experience is everything, because obviously like when you show your resume to employers, a lot of people want to be able to understand like what you really did at your job on a day-to-day basis, and like how important was your role, and like how did you contribute towards overall the success of the organization. So I really appreciate you mentioning that. And my last question to you is, who did you have like a mentor growing up that kind of fostered this like work ethic and kind of just hunger to want to do well at anything that they're called to do?
Sure. Um, Truthfully, my coach at Illinois was fantastic, and I still use her as a mentor with a lot of things personal, but also professional. And then my first boss at Illinois was definitely, he is like top notch. He's an amazing guy who has always advocated for like women in the sport industry, and he helps a lot. He's actually at Virginia Tech now. So I still lean on him for a lot of advice and help. And outside of those two, my mom obviously helped a lot, but she doesn't know anything about marketing. She's like, that's my daughter, you go girl. So more professional is definitely my Illinois soccer coach, and then my former boss, Brad.
No, that's great. Um, I think this is pretty much concludes our interview. So I just want to end by saying thank you for coming out and being with me. I know you have a lot going on. I'm rooting for a win. Do they play today or this week?
Tonight. Yep.
Tonight. So I'm praying for a win. I know we had the last time we really had it was before COVID. So hopefully we're going to be on a streak.
Yes.
So thank you again, Kassidy. I would love to stay in touch after this and catch up and really pick your brain more. So thank you again. To those watching, thank you for joining me. This has been Anthony Ayeni with Kassidy Brown, Senior Associate Athletics Director for Marketing and Communications at DePaul University. So thank you again, Kassidy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Anthony.